Hello, I'm Callum Pascoe. I'm team lead for this project Momentum. I'm going to introduce my team now. This is Jason.
I'm doing the UE for blueprinting and narrative-driven stuff.
Josh.
I'm the team lead for 3D modelling.
Mike, not Mike. Joe.
I'm Joe, I'm the team lead for level design and environmental destruction.
I'm Concepts.
Maddie.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I am the sound design lead.
So the high pitch, or the high concept of this is you're a bounty hunter in space, and you're hunting down different bounties, and you have a bunch of like mobility options to help you basically defeat your opposition and gain the bounty. Is essentially the high pitch. So the features is a fast-paced third-person shooter about killing enemies in the coolest sort of way possible with a bunch of different moves and combine them together. Players will take control of a bounty hunter with a variety of movement-based abilities like double jumping, sliding, and hovering, as well as access to a grappling hook that serves as a big core feature of the game. Players can like pull enemies towards them, and also enemies and environmental objects towards them, as well as just like launching themselves towards certain grappling points. Chain moves is keys to surviving combat and also doing well. Players will be incentivized to sort of vary up their play as they go along by what we call the momentum system, which will give the players buffs depending on how well they are doing. Players will be free to choose from a selection of different missions. Like the bounty hunter, they have a big mission list that they can choose. So they can tackle different missions, they might have different objectives, or they might be of different difficulties or environments that the player might like, so they get that choice. Story, I'll take you to the story lead here.
So the story starts off with you and your long-time partner going on a job. The first level will be introducing you to the characters and what they do, why they're there, why they're doing what they do. And the first job that you play as, which will be the tutorial level, is you have to get what seemingly is a simple bounty, but then it all goes wrong as there's some gangsters doing some gangstery thing. They don't hash out the details yet, but they're doing some gangstery things. You come in trying to arrest this guy for the bounty. They think you're trying to arrest them. Big gunfights ensues, and everyone ends up dead. What the player won't know until later on into the game is actually your partner who knew that was going to happen, set it up because he was working for an arms dealer who wanted the two gangster factions to be at war so he could sell more guns. There's a lot more that we need to hash out and think about. But yeah, that's the basic premise so far.
So let's just talk about the grappling hook, which is a core feature. As I said, it can pull enemies and objects towards you, but it can be used in tandem with the melee attack that the player has, which can send enemies like launching backwards or upwards, depending on different things. So if there's like an explosive barrel, the player can pull it towards them, and then like punch it towards a group of enemies and shoot it so it explodes, and sort of like it's that sort of combo. Or they can pull into enemies and like punch them into like a high-speed train and will instantly kill them. Here's some gameplay footage of the actual just grapple hook mechanic as it is. I don't know how you actually play that. That's a video. Could you see if you can play the other one? Yeah, there we go. Here's just prototype footage of. I don't know what's going on there. That looked a little smoother, but yeah, so you just, I mean, it works. You point in and click it. If you just go back a slide. Yeah, there's how it works. Enemies, that video is not playing properly at all, but there we go. That's sort of like a very rough, that's an old sort of version. That's a little bit better at the moment. Okay, just go to the, yeah, go again. So as I said, this is about some abilities you can do. Just sprint, jump, slide, and hover, and chain these moves. It is more entertaining at high speed and succeeding combat. Then we have destruction. I think that's more destruction lead here.
There'll be most of the buildings in the game will be destructible, and they'll be able to be used to the debris will be able to cause damage to enemies who are there, and you'll also be able to carve your way through, make different pathways through the map. There'll be a mixture of a variety of different destruction techniques being used. I'll do real-time destruction, which won't be able to be used if we go online, because that causes latency issues. Stuff to because it's an offline game, we should be able to get away with it with smaller assets. Large-scale destruction will be pre-animated in the modelling phase, and then added in at a later stage. And I can also do custom FBX chunks, which will be done in modelling phase as well, so I can set the destruction chunks to whatever I want, basically. So I can have like ladders that stay as ladders that come off the side of the buildings, things like that.
So the setting takes place on an alien planet, which we don't know the name of just yet. They will explore the capital city and explore various different districts within that one city. So there'll be slums and the industrial areas, like sort of a high society area as well. And they will be able to explore the city freely as essential help with missions taking place in what are going to be procedurally generated environments, which will be constructed out of like sort of prefab combat arenas. So yeah, the players will explore the city hub, and then they will be able to get to the sort of what we're current dungeons at the moment in development, and there'll also be sort of different sort of incentives to explore. We have XP, currency, and spend character updates. This is Joe's forte, so do you have anything to add to sort of what the city is going to be like, the length of?
Not really. I mean, you've sort of hit the nail on the head with everything.
Yeah.
Like, you will be rewarded for exploring around rather than just going to your set destination. There'll be stuff around that isn't on your so-called path, if you like. There'll be like Easter eggs, collectibles, all the good stuff.
So our target hardware, we're going for Windows, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Mouse and keyboard is currently the primary input device, with gamepad obviously fully supported with the other platforms as well as on PC. Competition, so fast-paced shooters with more movement options like these are becoming more and more popular as time goes on, especially in sort of the AAA space. However, these games are tended to blend sort of genres like Project Momentum with combo-based gameplay, meaning that our game hopefully stand out from the rest. The sort of games that are potential competition are as listed: Warframe, Doom, the Doom reboot, Control, and sort of Titanfall 2. Target customer are male teenagers, targeting sort of PEGI 16 plus rating, maybe 18, not quite sure, but it'll be sort of for fans of arcade shooters and fans of technical action games, and sort of fans of sci-fi bounty hunters, people like Boba Fett and all that, not in Star Wars, so I think this will appeal to them. Here's some gameplay footage of just prototyping here. So there's the basic shooting, aiming, they get extra damage for headshots, reloading.
What's the bounding box, red bounding box thing there?
That's just the additional sort of collisions. So
Okay.
because you're going to be moving quickly, there'll be like pickups like health pickups and ammo pickups. Obviously, if you're moving quickly, you don't want to walk over them individually, very specifically.
Okay.
So that's just there. There's the slide. It's sort of already trapped underneath objects as well. We've just got basic enemy AI at the moment with health bars at the top of them, so the players can sort of like tell which targets are higher priority and not. And this is just sort of like how we, flying around, shooting them from above.
It doesn't run this badly.
No, it
Yeah,
does
in
not.
engine
I
and
clarify.
it
I'd be horrified if it did. I think that's enough of that footage. I think that's So to say in the concept, this is Josh's concept, so like a modelling lead as well, so we'll be modelling this, so like him just talk through the process of the design.
So far, we're going for the mercenary feel, and we're talking about Western games at the start of our old Western genre. This is the start of our process. So I went for a sci-fi approach for like the armor, and then I wanted the mercenary sort of cowboy poncho like to carry through to the armor. That's why we have this blue metallic arrow covering the face and the shoulders. I also want to bring it over and have a full-on cloak that go on over. So this is what, that's what this. This would be the hub area. It's just a few roughs. So we wanted the barman initially who'd hand out the quests, and that's why we had like a wanted board. So that's when you know who your next target is. You'll be able to see them, and then that would be to start your mission. And then we wanted a gun shop where you could buy upgrades and give them your collectibles.
The one on the far right is, I had an idea for sort of an evil character, very buff looking, a bit sinister with sort of robotic eye, sort of futuristic type thing. And these guys I had sort of maybe gang type themed, hoodie, sort of different
Yeah.
classes of
Yeah,
people,
different
I
like
suppose.
factions of
Yeah.
like gangs. So this is like the guys who wear hoods and masks.
Yeah.
These are concept that if you wanna.
These are a member of my team, his concepts for landscapes and other sort of members, like enemy
Yeah.
sort of spawns. And these are just different variety of weapons and city landscapes that hopefully we'll sort of use for our gaming area, I suppose.
Maddie, you just want to talk about your sound design stuff?
Yeah, sure. So the sound design itself is going to have a major emphasis on sound effects, mainly considering the environmental interactions and the excessive amount of dynamic movements, which will require a lot of sound effects to sort of make flow nicely, so what matches your eyes matches your ears. Another thing we're considering is the implementation of music inside of the leitmotif, which will use the same tune for the entire city hub, but be separated into different styles. So the high class area will have more of an orchestral theme, and everything will sort of change the tone to flow with that. Whereas the slum theme should be sort of more upbeat, grungy sort of style. And there's going to be the voice acting, which is going to have a lot of interaction between our protagonist and antagonist, not to mention the interactions between NPCs and their general responses to their surroundings. So if they require backup, they could yell in for them. If they're being attacked, they could alert. And if they spot the enemy, they could just give general shouts to show that they're there, which will alert the player quite easily.
Okay. So, first things first, what about monetisation? How are you going to make your money?
It'll be a game you buy. That'll be it. You just buy the game once and then that's it.
It's not thinking about extra add-ons or...
No,
Microtransaction.
no. It's the worst thing in gaming is microtransactions.
What, £100 membership for a year?
No, it's just,
Okay. Well,
And sometimes just honesty seems to be outgrown, like being really have a very traditional sort of business model these days. Just being like, here's the game. I think can actually sort of drive sales because players kind of are. So there's a little bit of like sort of fatigue with that sort of like microtransactions and all that stuff. So sometimes you can position sort of your game as, oh look, it's great because it's one and done purchase, and that can sort of drive maybe more potential people to buy the game.
okay, well, I still that's a major important part of your GDD, so make sure you put that in there. Okay, make it very, very clear. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of audio in there. Has that been scripted out yet, or anything like that? Or
It's in the process.
you're supposed to doing that? Yeah. Okay.
I can help.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Yeah. So that needs to be done as soon as possible. That's going to be a big job for whoever does that. So, how many worlds are you modelling? Is it 3 or 4?
there's one made like hub city, and then there'll be 3 dungeons which Jason's working on Super Generation 4.
Okay.
There'll be one. So the hub city will just be a set
Uh-huh.
thing with the destruction that will be reset each time you leave.
Uh-huh.
So it's always you don't just come back to like a barren wasteland after once
Okay.
versing through.
So is there, still got the biodome thing, have you?
Oh yeah, the biomes are just like the different sort of areas. The different dungeons
so
are kind of
one
divided.
dungeon's going to be a sewer,
Yeah.
so that will be for that one, and one's going to be like a high-sector train station or something along those lines, because I know Callum wanted something with high speed
Yeah.
to be able to throw enemies into. So they, like for one's going to be like a industrial power plant factory type setting. So there's going to be 3 different areas around the main city. We use the main city to traverse to get to each location.
Okay, so
I
you
think
got...
we decided like we were going to have multiple sort of planets you could fly to, but I think we thought it would be better if we consolidated our efforts into like one. I mean, obviously there's variety within that one city, but it was like if we could have like a city that maybe you have enough assets for it feels like a very distinct sort of place that has like a personality and stuff like that, instead of like spreading itself a little bit too thin over multiple planets. Obviously we got the different sort of areas to provide variety, but hopefully if we condense all our efforts to sort of one area and one planet, we can get the style and sort of the models of that one planet down really well, and hopefully it'll pay off in the end.
Okay, well, even with one...
Well,
Area,
that's
you got-
you can use one model with 3 different.
Yeah,
textures
well, I
on.
think you've still got a lot of modelling there. Have you got an asset
still-
list yet, have you?
yeah.
Have you got an asset list yet?
We got an asset list.
Yeah. Is it quite big?
Yeah.
Cool, okay, all right. And what sort of style are we going for? Cell shaded, not realistic, so me?
At the moment I think we're doing
There was mention of cell shaded.
Yeah.
There's some people who weren't
Yeah.
keen on the idea, namely me.
I think there'll be discussion like when the models are
Yeah.
done, sort of like
Well,
how
it's going to be
how things play
it's going to
out.
be a lot of emissive texture.
Yeah.
and-
It's lots of neon and stuff, yeah?
Neon,
Yeah.
wet puddles.
Yeah.
So Blade Runner-y.
Yeah,
Yeah, sort of like Tron and that sort of stuff.
Okay. Is there anything holding you up at the moment?
Not really.
Not really, just the there's models, content output. I think obviously it's just hard to get all the content out there. I mean, we're working on. Joe's done a decent amount of destruction work, and I'm happy with how that's been going. Stuff I'm doing is going all right-ish, sort of mobility and stuff like that. There's a lot of like issues under the hood, sort of like. I can show like a slide working, but you know sometimes there'll be issues with it. So I spend a lot of time at the moment polishing that up.
A few creases there here. And
Yeah, there are a few little things, and then it's sort of seeing how the procedural generation pans out eventually, because hopefully it'll turn out well, but you know there can be complications with that. So Jason's looking at that right now.
Okay, all right, that's it. And what platform was it?
PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One and Switch.
Okay, and how are you going to test that? You thought about that?
No.
Okay, all right.
So you can't test on PlayStation.
No.
You can't turn your PS.
I mean, PC will be the primary platform. It'll be out on that first if it ever comes out. You know.
Okay. Okay, good.